Now, I must tell you about that strange, naked being, Mama, and my meeting with her. I first heard of Mama from Mr. Anantanarayana Pillai, in whose house. He said that she was an Avadootha, a spiritually advanced person, who cared nothing for the niceties of social behavior. She lived naked on the sands of the KanyaKumari beach with a number of stray dogs for companions. 2 days after getting this information, I boarded an early morning bus from Trivandrum bound for Kanyakumari. The bus reached Kanyakumari a little before noon. It was a hot summer day. It is a beautiful place, especially at sunset, sunri se, and on full moon nights. Facing the sea stands the legendary temple of the Virgin Goddess, Kanyakumari. It is said that in the olden days, a precious diamond that was set in the nose ring of the deity served as a beacon light, helping sailors navigate their vessels. I decided to first visit the temple, since I knew that it closed at midday. I found the deity very beautiful even with the lowly, artificial diamond in her nose ring. Now I had to find Mama. But then I was suddenly feeling very hungry. I thought I would go to a restaurant, eat something, and also make inquiries. I entered the first restaurant I saw and sat at the table nearest to the cash counter. As I tucked into delicious dosas. After the food, I walked down the shoreline, sometimes on sand and sometimes climbing up and down the rocks, until I heard the snarling of dogs and stopped. Half a dozen dogs of all colors and sizes stood in a semicircle in front of a large boulder and snarled at me, baring their teeth. From behind the boulder came the sound of a musical, sing-song female voice. I could not understand the words, but the sounds were soothing. The dogs stopped snarling and slunk away behind the rocks. I moved forward and looked behind the boulder. There she sat, leaning against another rock, naked as a babe. I could not help wondering how beautiful that sunburnt and darkened face must have been at one time. Her grey unwashed hair was thick and abundant. I surprised myself by bursting into tears and crying loudly like an infant. My whole body shook as the sobs seemed to push forth from some deep cavity in my heart. Mama put forth her hands and caressed every inch of my body lovingly. She kept saying something unintelligible in that musical voice of hers. After a while, I felt light, as if the shading of the tears had washed all the burdens away. I pulled myself together and, remembering the dosas I had brought, offered them to her. She opened the packet and, keeping one dosa for herself, distributed the rest to her dog companions. Taking that as a signal of dismissal, I prostrated full length at her feet, got up, and walked away. One piece she put into my mouth, patted my face, and said one word which I understood. Jao, jao, go, go.